Today I'm sharing my default full body workout that helped take me from 260 pounds all the way down to 155 pounds and then back up to 175 pounds with muscle recomposition. So check it out, guys. First, what I'm doing is an ab and pelvic floor stabilization exercise. So this is training my oblique abdominal muscles as well as my pelvic floor. Hence the attempt at keeping my legs at a 90-degree angle or as close to a 90-degree angle as possible. So you'll see me alternating, elbow to knee there. And do as many reps as you could comfortably do, until failure, until you feel like you need to rest. Then you'll see me doing, regular crunches here, just the forward and backward motion, trying to keep my legs as parallel or perpendicular, sorry, to my mat as possible. No, it would be parallel. Oh my gosh. How long has it been since I've been in geometry? Goodness, y'all. Anyways, now what you'll see is something that I like to use to stabilize my pelvic floor even more. And what this also does is it helps tone the inner thighs as well. So you can see I do a couple of reps here and, just chilling, but not too chill because you don't want it to be too easy, guys. You want it to be challenging enough to do what it needs to do. Now here, I don't know what this is called formally, but I like to call it the rock back and forth. That's what I refer to it as. And you just keep your back as flat as possible while you use your abs to rotate, your legs just like this. And I can usually do a lot more reps than that, but for, demonstration's sake, I just did those. So this right here, what I'm demonstrating is frog style glute bridges with resistance. So what I did is I put some ankle weights right here in the center. And this kind of mimics a hip thrust in a way, because if you don't have a gym or access to a gym, or you just want to work out at home, this is a really good alternative to hip thrusts as long as it gives you enough resistance. So you got to make sure you're doing, enough reps and giving yourself enough resistance. So you can see here my form isn't perfect, guys. I'm not trying to be perfect, I'm trying to be as correct as possible, but you can see my foot's kind of offset there on the left. I didn't see that until it was already filmed. So yeah, try to keep your form a little better than that, y'all. So what I do next here is I adjust the ankle weight and then, adjust my feet just a little bit, plant my heels firmly on the ground. And you see how I use my hips and my, glutes to lift up with? Not your back, guys, and not your hamstrings or quads either. All right, so here is something that I like to do, floor chest presses, and these are 12-pound dumbbells. And, you're supposed to do these until failure. Here, I believe I do 10 reps just for demonstration's sake. But make sure you do these until failure too. Now, if you're working out alone at home, have your phone nearby or, let somebody know that you're working out at least, because when you're doing stuff like this, it's easy to get distracted, and especially if you're, getting tired out while you're doing the reps, it's easy to have an accident, and you just want to prevent that as much as possible. So keep your phone nearby or let someone know, in the house, or, text your best friend or whatever, hey, I'm working out, if you don't hear from me in a while, check on me kind of thing. Because check this out. If you don't have a spotter, you need someone to know what's going on, okay? Safety first, always. And always talk to your doctor before you start a workout routine. Make sure you are fit enough to start. If you're not, your doctor can help, give you ways to get ready to start exercising. And give yourself enough time to rest. All right, so here you'll see I'm doing just some basic bicep curls. You know, you do these until failure as well. These are 5-pound dumbbells. So I'm not using the 12-pound dumbbells here. Now, I like to sometimes, but a lot of times I like to still use the 5-pounders because I'm not trying to give myself too much load on the biceps because I want guns, but I don't want them to be the biggest guns in the world. And as you see here, guys, I'm taking some time to admire my physique and how far I've come. It's very important that you do this, guys. Of course, don't become conceited, but you need to look at yourself and record your progress and, you know, make note of how far you've come. You know, it's important to celebrate yourself and, you know, everything that you're getting done. And so here I'm doing weighted lunges, and they are backwards lunges. I do not like doing forward lunges. Forward lunges are too quad heavy, and I do a lot of quad work with, you know, my step, my aerobic step, and, you know, walking and jogging in general, so I don't like to overwork the quads. But the reverse lunges are great. So here, you know, you see that we're getting the side glutes and everything. And right here is just some random arm toning warm up for cardio, okay? It's just random moves. You can pretty much choose whatever you want. I like to do this right here because it gives me a lot of mobility in my shoulders. And, you know, here I'm just kind of having a little fun with it, guys. That's what you do. You have a lot of fun with what you're doing. If you're not having fun when you're working out, then what are you doing? You know? That's why I like to listen to a lot of music when I work out. You know, I like to dance, hit poses, especially if I'm filming, you know. And I like to admire my progress, of course.